IT Project Report, Nova Gradick and Company LLP. My name is Michael Johnson.
And I'm Shawn Jones.
All right, we're gonna get going here with our project presentation. We're starting with a overview of the organization. So it is a national public accounting firm that offers audit services, tax services, and business valuation services. It also operates in a niche market in the real estate industry, and it has a unique partnership with the Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, branch of the United States government. In October 2018, the firm went through a company-wide software change to a new automated software system in a goal to initiate more innovative and efficient accounting processes. And it is this switch in October of 2018 that we're going to talk about throughout this report and presentation. There are three problems that arose with the rollout of this new software in October 2018. The first problem, it was simply the learning curve associated with learning the new software. The previous software had been used for almost 10 years, so everybody was very used to that. The second was security rights and access to information within the software. So at this company, as an employee, you only have access to what you were specifically assigned to. So when a new hire or an intern is brought in, they need to be given permission to access certain things. So what they found this new software is that the new hires and interns were not getting the clearance. The third problem, and most problematic, was that the software was overwhelmed from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it was because of a surge in system use, and it causes the system to crash and or run slowly. So in response to this, the company created a code, MIS-caseware, and it was a code to self-bill the company for time spent waiting on the software to load. So looking at the costs of the MIS-caseware code, so this is a cost that was incurred by the company itself, so they weren't billing their clients for this issue. So chart number 1 here shows sample data taken from a team of 8 workers working 40 hours per week. Although we will admit that 40 hours per week is rare, it's usually beyond that. So a simple calculation to explain the chart is that there are 3 staff members working 40 hours a week at $50 hourly rate, which equals $6,000 of weekly billable hours. And then so on, if you go down the line, a senior person makes 75, manager 100, and so on. So continuing with the cost of this MIS-caseware code. So if you look at this, you have your 3 staff members, and each one billed 2 MIS hours per week, okay? And at a rate of $50, as we saw in the previous slide, $50 per hour. So that's $300 a week of MIS-caseware coding just for the staff. And if you look at the weekly cost annualized, multiplying by 52, you add up from staff all the way down to partner, and you're seeing $43,550 weekly costs. And if you expand that across how many teams work for the company, within the company, you're looking at roughly $4.5 million each year.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now we're going to go and address the proposed solutions that we came up with. So starting with problem 1, if you remember, it was the learning curve behind each current employee when the software changed in October 2018 to December 2018. This was the learning curve where they had to completely learn a new system. So our old system, which was called ePace software, was in the company for 10 years. And when Caseware came along, there was a culture shock of people who became experts and extremely efficient in the old software that really didn't know what to do and became really frustrated. So as we have talked about, billing is really important, and billing exact amounts to clients is crucial. That the learning curve became really costly because there was extra costs incurred to the client and both within the firm because if you could do corrections of a tax return in 2 hours, in the new system, it probably took someone 4 to 5 hours, and hundreds of dollars for these extra hours can come up. And at Novogradac, though, they are anticipating this to be a one-time problem due to implemented trainings throughout the year, and now everyone has a full tax season under their belt. So they're assuming this problem will be resolved next year and will not be experienced again, maybe for the interns, but it will be taught and trained each year on a monthly basis. Can you go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
So the second problem was in regards to security rights. And for starters, I just want to say that this seems like a problem, but it's really not the worst thing in the world because it ensures the security of clients' financials. A lot of the clients' financials include bank account routing numbers where there's thousands, even millions of dollars are flowing through, or tax return refunds are going to their account. So in order for the security right access for certain individuals to get to their work in certain binders, it was a problem this year, but it's not the worst problem in the world to have, to make sure each binder is, I guess, extra safe or extra secure. So moving forward, Novogradac plans to start the hiring process a few months earlier, in August and September, rather than November and December like they've done in the years past. This will give the IT department 2 extra months to basically get a list of the names of the new hires, what teams they will be on, and assign them to the case for binders a few months earlier. And again, with this, we assume that it will be fixed just because it gives IT department and gives people more time to implement this rather than doing it during the busy season when no one really has any spare time. Next slide, please. And our third and final problem, which was the biggest and most costly, Michael stated that it could cost the firm $4.5 million on the low end if it continues on this rate. So we actually had the opportunity to talk to an IT manager, and it turns out in the past, Novogradac was able to save money by purchasing 1 software license per every 3 employees. So we came up with, and this was able to work with the old software because it was not as technologically complex. And then me and Michael came up with the idea to purchase 1 software per every 1.5 employees to increase the bandwidth and the capabilities, because it's literally impossible for an accounting firm that is trying to meet deadlines to have basically a down period from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. So we're thinking that if we cut this number down in half, yes, Novogradac will have to purchase essentially double more licenses per year. But on the positive, like, this is just a drop in the barrel than the expected $5 million of internal billing that would be incurred if the rate of MIS codes were billed in the current year. So in conclusion, the biggest problem faced is problem 3. We believe that problem 1 will happen only on the initial startup, which is already passed, and now everyone essentially has a hang of the system and can control it. And we believe problem 2, the security issue, can be solved by starting the hiring process and IT audit control process 2 months earlier than in years previous. And for the third, our biggest proposed idea that could save the company the most money is essentially doubling the number of software licenses bought to increase the bandwidth of the system.